Welcome back, everyone, to our career mode series of NASCAR Heat 3. So we're coming off of a great race, a lot of fun at Dover. We got a top 10 finish, so all that was great. But then it came time for Talladega. Of course, we do not have a super speedway chassis right now, so we knew we were going to have to take a pretty big penalty on our performance, and also we were going to simulate that race. Well, I've already taken care of that, and unfortunately, it did not go well. We finished 27th in that race, and so now that puts us in a bit of a bind as we head into Kansas in the final race of the second round of the playoffs. So let's take a quick look at the schedule. There you can see our 7th place finish at Dover, 27th at Talladega, which was a killer, and we'll see why here in just a second. So now it all comes down to Kansas. We need to have a great race at Kansas, or we're going to be on the outside looking in at these guys race for a championship. Let's pull up the playoff grid and you can see why I say that. We are in dead last in the playoffs, 22 points out. So Talladega was a huge detriment to our chances to move forward. We're almost in a must-win situation. Of course, we could always get some stage points and try to help out with that. Obviously, if you win stages, that's a lot of points that you can gain. But at this point, we are in desperate times. And of course, that calls for desperate measures. So that's going to make our race today at Kansas Speedway very exciting as we've got a ton on the line. So let's pull back out and go to next race. Go race. And we're going to choose Speedway chassis number 2. You can see I've already done the work here. We're also working on the short track chassis in bay number 3 in case we move on next week in the playoffs to Martinsville. But for now, we'll choose Speedway chassis number 2 and we'll head to the track. All right, folks, it is race time here at Kansas. So you see Martin Truex on the pole. We will be starting in the 8th position, but after any pre-race adjustments, we might be starting in a different spot. In fact, yes, there you can see us on the inside line, which means we are not in 8th. We're most likely in 7th position as our starting spot. So we're going to try to get as many points as we can. And obviously, the ultimate goal is to win every stage and the race. So we're going to see how well that goes. Off to a pretty good start getting up to speed. We'll see if that continues through turns 1 and 2. Got some banking transitions to deal with in the corners where the banking increases. And it can be very difficult if you hit those just wrong. It can get the car really loose or really tight, just depending on how you hit it. So we'll have to be careful for that. I generally prefer the high side at this track, so starting on the outside here is not a terrible thing. Ooh, Brad K had to check up mid-corner. Not sure if that was because of the 24 or if he was having issues. But either way, we've got nice position on him. We'll stay at the bottom for the moment. Hopefully we can make this pass and get clear of Brad K. But you can see he's hanging in there pretty good. All right, now let's get to the outside. All right, so we're going to get up in this middle lane, and we'll make short work of the 24 car up there. It just feels so much better higher on the track. We'll try to work a little bit lower and see how that works in 3 and 4, but again, higher on the track, really enjoy that for many different reasons, but the car really seems to like it up higher at this track. All right, 6 laps to go here in stage 1. Oh, drove that in there terribly. Hit one of those banking transitions, so now we're just all out of whack for this corner. So we'll have to regroup, try again in turn 3. So stage points are huge for us. As much as we want that one playoff point for winning a stage, it's also extremely important for us that we maximize the number of regular season type of points we get from this stage. All right, trying to run a little bit lower, get those left sides down into the bottom. really just don't prefer that. I might be able to make it work, but really just feels like I'm forcing the car down there. As usual, I've changed up the setup a little bit, making it a little bit tight on entry, because that really forces us to have to drive it in there hard and then deal with the consequences of doing that, which are generally that we slide up the racetrack and scrub off a lot of speed. So that's the way I like to set them up. Again, just for that extra little bit of challenge. But right now, Martin Truex Jr. has quite a bit of speed. Trying to run him down here, but right now he is making some very good lap times compared to what I can run. You can see in our mirror that we have pulled away nicely from third place and on back. Oh, got into one of those banking transition again with the left side tires. Not too bad though. All right, so we are getting a little bit closer to him, but just not enough to do anything with him. And we're running out of laps here in stage number 1. The good news though, second place is going to give us a lot of points. And we need all of them we can get. There you can see the car getting loose again. I'm just flirting around way too much with that banking transition. I'm going to have to stop doing that. All right, so it looks like he's going to have the better of us. We've got one more lap remaining here in stage number 1.
A white flag this time. It'll be a checkered flag next.
A little bit better. Stayed with the left side tires above that mark, and that is a much smoother corner for us. You can see we're making some gains on Truex. Let's try the same thing over in turn 3 and 4. We're just going to let this bad boy go a little bit higher, try to maintain the speed, but it's not going to be enough.
That's a top 5.
Excellent first stage for us. Second position will get us 9 points. I like that. And just taking a look, of course, you can see Kyle Busch, Brad Kay, Kevin Harvick, all of those in the top 10. So we made up some points, but not sure how many, because we're focused on winning the race right now. So no reason to pit here. 26 laps remaining. Do not pit and advance to the next restart.
Pace car is off. Be ready. Be ready here.
All right, pretty good start for us here on the outside. You can see we're pulling ahead. Since it's not the start of the race, we don't have to worry about beating the leader to the line. And obviously, because of the way the game operates, we know we can't jump the start because we don't get control of the car until then.
Still there.
All right, so starting on the outside, certainly not the end of the world for us. We've dropped back to third temporarily. I think we can take care of the 24 like we did back in stage 1. So we'll try to do that as quickly as possible, and then we'll set sail for Martin Truex and see if we can't do something with him.
Stay high, stay high. Still there.
Really trying to pinch the 24 down. Unfortunately, it doesn't really do anything to the AI. They don't really care. They run max speed regardless of what their angles are into and off the corner.
All right, now you're clear.
All right, much better corner for us there through 1 and 2. And we are easily clear of the 24. And we're just not near as good in 3 and 4 as we need to be. Turn 1 and 2, we seem to be doing really good, and generally we gain on the cars around us in turns 1 and 2, but not so much in 3 and 4. So I got some things to figure out if we're going to be better in turns 3 and 4. But this is one of the reasons why I really enjoy Kansas, in this game is because it's a tough track. The two ends of the track are very different, certainly not to the extent of a place like Darlington, but very different nonetheless, and it adds a challenge there, and I really enjoy that. So right now we're basically in the same spot we were in stage number 1. We're trying to get closer to Martin Truex, but having a hard time getting right to his bumper. He's running some very nice laps. Hopefully we can continue to pull away from the rest of the field. That would be nice. Alright, so he's going to run a little bit lower on the straightaway. Again, that really doesn't make any difference to the AI. They don't seem to care. All right, I believe that's the 42 coming up on our bumper, so he's running some really good laps now. It is going to be challenging us, it looks like, here in the next lap or two for that second position, unless we can run down Truex and get by him before that happens, because he's definitely showing quite a bit of speed. Yeah, one of the things that's really hurting us in 3 and 4 right now is that the entry is very tight for me. So again, need to make some adjustments there if we're ultimately going to be able to do anything with Truex. You can see the 42 is right there in our mirror, and he really wants these stage points. You can see the 42 get in much deeper into turn 3 than I did, and he's going to have a great run coming off the corner.
2 laps to go.
All right, 2 laps remaining here in stage number 2.
Bottom lane's clear. Use it if you need it.
Oh, there's another one of those banking transitions at the top, up in the 3rd groove. All right, so the 42 is going to move by us. Not a whole lot we could do there. He had a great run and is showing quite a bit of speed right now. So we've got one more lap to see if we can salvage as many points as possible.
Still there.
So we're going to really drive it in here hard and see if we can get any luck here in turns 3 and 4.
Careful. Still there.
Unfortunately, the high side is just not going to work out for us here in 3 and 4.
That'll earn you.
All right, 3rd place. Not quite as much as we were hoping for, but hard to argue with the points we've gotten here. We've put ourselves in a great situation to move forward in the playoffs with what we've done in today's race, but we'll have to see if that's enough. We got a large hole to dig ourselves out of. So we are, of course, not going to pit. We got 15 laps remaining. This is actually going to put us back on the bottom for the final restart, or what we think will probably be the final restart, since we don't see very many cautions in this game.
Car outside. Car outside.
All right, we're going to push Truex until we have an opportunity to pull inside of him. And now we're just going to send it through 1 and 2 flat out. But you can see it's not going to be enough. These guys are motoring by us on the outside.
Car outside. Car outside. Top lane free here. Use it if you need it. Top lane free.
All right, he keeps telling me, Spotter's saying top lane is free, but as usual, I'm not sure I believe him. Try to get down here and use this bottom a little bit. Just feels like it scrubs off too much speed. But that may be what we have to make work at some point. All right, somehow we have managed to pull ahead. Looks like Larson doesn't have the speed he had in stage 2. Oh, wow. Great run on Truex here.
Careful. Still there.
Awesome run through there. Let's see what happens down here in 3 and 4. I could have driven it in there a little deeper, but I knew I couldn't hold it. And right now we're going to pay because the 18 is coming very hard. All right, so instead of the 42, it's going to be the 18 this time, it looks like. That's going to give us a lot of trouble in this stage. Once again, we'll move up the track a little bit, see if we can make that high side work. We're going to have to find something to work and some sort of advantage over these guys if we're going to have any shot at making the passes. So a nice run through 1 and 2. We pull away from the 18 a little bit. Okay, that's not a bad 3 and 4 for us, given everything we're dealing with here. So I can't be upset about that. Another great run on Truex. This time the 18 is staying right with us.
Stay low. Hang tight there, driver. Hold this line.
Oh, there's no way we can hold it down here. Yep, just wasn't going to work, and now we're going to pay for it by losing second spot. But it was worth the chance, no doubt. We had to try to get that lead if we could, and just didn't work out for us there. Way too tight on the bottom to have any shot of holding that position.
Still there.
All right, so we're going to be on the bottom here for turns 1 and 2, which isn't going to help us a whole lot because we don't like to be down there.
Draw clear up top.
We'll try to make it work as best we can. Try to unwind the wheel as soon as I can. Let that car flow through the corner. Again, a pretty good turn 3 and 4. So right now we're in this never-ending cycle of trying to get close enough to Truex to make something happen, but we got to do it in the right spot on the track. So far we haven't been able to do that. Really need to be on his inside going into turn 3, but not at his rear quarter panel. We need to be up even with him, if not a little bit ahead of him on corner entry, so that hopefully we can get where we need to do, and maybe we have to use him up a little bit mid-corner and run him up the track a little bit where he doesn't want to be in order to complete that pass. But we got to get there first, and we are quickly running out of laps and maybe out of time in our playoff hopes. But in our Making It Fun series, this is exactly the kind of racing that I'm looking for. It really challenges me, and the combination of the setup and the car and all of that really works out well. Oh, not a good corner there. Got down on that banking transition. Disrupted the car some. Oh, that was not a good entry there. Really tight. Had to get out of the gas too much, and we're going to pay for it with 1, maybe 2 spots as we come to 1 to go.
White flag. Bring it home. All right, now you're clear. That car there's on
Now,
your
nothing to
side.
save here. We're just going to drive it in here, and we're going to give it everything we've got. Now, unfortunately, we're going to be on the outside for turn 3 and 4.
Still there.
So normally being able to hold him down would be an advantage. Not going to happen today. We will come home in 3rd position. So another great race. Lots of fun. All right, let's move forward, and ultimately, let's see if our playoff chances continue to survive by the thinnest of threads, or if our luck has finally run out. Let's move through these final few screens and get to the point where we really need to know, did we make it through? So as always, quite a bit of money that we made here in the race, particularly with that third place finish, but what happened? Oh, we did not make it. So we made a valiant effort, but our playoff chances will end here at Kansas. We ended up 12 points out, which we made up 10 points at this point, but it just wasn't enough. We were too far behind, and we were too many drivers behind. All right, so who advances? See, Kevin Harvick, of course, Martin Truex as he won this race, and then Clint Boyer, who won the very first race of this particular round. So really, Kyle Larson was able to move forward and had 9 points over Joey Logano. So really wasn't that close as we finished off the race. So let's move forward to the last few laps. I did see real quickly there that Kyle Larson had the fastest lap. Not surprising, because he was definitely making up a lot of ground as he was coming up on us. So 1.6 million there. And of course, that number continues to grow as we pick up more and more fans. 256,000 additional fans. All right, let's see what we've got in the Twitter feedback. We really didn't have any contact with anybody, so no reason for negative feedback. Let's see what we do get. Brendan Gaughan, you know what? You brighten my day every time I see you. Appreciate it, Mr. Gaughan. Bubba Wallace. All right, so we're best friends with Bubba Wallace. I wonder if he's going camping with us. That's the real thing we need to know. And Corey LaJoy. You got to love that beard game that Corey LaJoy's got going on. Very nice indeed. Always interesting to see another driver with the hashtag poetry in motion. All right, so that might do it for our playoff chances and our title hopes, but it doesn't mean our season is quite over with just yet. We've still got some more races to try and win. We want as many victories as we can get. You can see on the right-hand side of the screen, only one victory this season. We're looking for at least 2, if not 3 or 4, before the season is over. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned as we will continue our career mode series of NASCAR Heat 3.